What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 6 value plays.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my favorite value plays. Not the highest price players, not the lowest price players, but those players right in the middle that have some good upside and a reasonable price tag.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, NFL Week 6, let's take a look at the quarterback position. If you're looking for a value play here at the quarterback position, take a look at Ryan Fitzpatrick from the Miami Dolphins playing the New York Jets, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they have a middle-of-the-pack defense defending opposing quarterbacks. Ryan Fitzpatrick has averaged 23.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.8 rush attempts per game. He scored 31, 26, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games. This guy's been a big surprise to the fantasy football world, and he's going to be about 11% owned, projected at 20 fantasy points here in Week 6. He's still only $5,900 DraftKings salary and $1,500 more on FanDuel. So I like that DraftKings price. Now you just have to hope that the Jets can keep this game competitive, but Ryan Fitzpatrick's been super consistent so far this season, so I expect that to continue here in Week 6. So I like Ryan Fitzpatrick here versus the New York Jets. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. I'm a little hesitant with this value play, but he does have a good matchup here. He's getting plenty of volume, and I think he could have a breakout week here in Week 6. So I like David Johnson from the Houston Texans playing the Tennessee Titans, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. David Johnson has averaged 12.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 13.6 rush attempts per game and 3.6 pass targets per game. He got 17 rush attempts and 4 pass targets last game, and 16 rush attempts and 3 pass targets the game before that. So he's getting plenty of touches. He's just having a hard time finding the end zone and racking up those big fantasy points, only scoring 12, 11, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks. But he is going to be about 17% owned because he's on the field for 80% of the snaps, and he touches the ball 37% of that time. He's projected at 14.4 fantasy points here in Week 6, and he's $5,400 DraftKings salary and $1,000 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 53 points scored in this game, with the Houston Texans trailing by 3.5. So you've got a high-scoring game, a close, competitive game, and a good matchup. So I like David Johnson here versus the Tennessee Titans.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL, MLB is still going, NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, if you're looking for a value play here at the wide receiver position, take a look at Terry McLaurin from the Washington football team playing the New York Giants, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 11th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Terry McLaurin has averaged 16.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 9.2 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 18% owned here on the field for 95% of the snaps. He's projected at 15.2 fantasy points here in week 6, and he's still only $5,700 DraftKings salary and $1,200 more on FanDuel. Now, Vegas does think this is going to be a low-scoring game. 43 points scored in this game, with the Washington football team trailing by 2.5. Now, Terry McLaurin only scored 6 fantasy points off of 7 pass targets last game, but he put up 25 and 13 fantasy points in the 2 games prior to that. So I think it's a bounce back spot in a game that he could find himself in a passing game script. I think his salary is just a little bit too low here for the volume this guy's getting. So I like Terry McLaurin here versus the New York Giants. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. So if you're looking for a value play here at the tight end position, despite the bad matchup here, take a look at Austin Hooper from the Cleveland Browns playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing tight ends. But Austin Hooper has averaged 7.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.4 pass targets per game. And his pass volume has been increasing each week for the last 3 weeks. He got 10, 7, and 4 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks, scoring 11, 14, and 6 fantasy points. He's going to be about 4% owned here on the field for 84% of the snaps. He's projected at 9.1 fantasy points here in week 6, and he's $3,900 DraftKings salary and $1,300 more on FanDuel. So we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 51 points scored in this game, with the Cleveland Browns trailing by 3. So it could be a passing game script if the Browns fall behind in this game. And Austin Hooper's been getting a ton of pass volume the past couple of weeks. So I like Austin Hooper here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video, or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.